Welcome back to Why You'll Fall in Love with Math, part of the Side Hustle Writer course. You may think that you will never fall in love with math, and I pretty much agree with you. But in this lesson, I'm going to show you how to use math to make your life so much easier and make your book go much quicker. But first, let's talk about how long is a book. If you look on Kindle in the Kindle store, you're going to find that a lot of the $2.99 how-to books range between 12 to 20,000 words. And sometimes Amazon gives you a word count or a page count, sometimes it doesn't. But the length of your book is dependent upon the topic and the depth of how deep you want to dive into a particular topic. So I can see a How to Unplug a Drain book being 5 to 8,000 words and How to Write a Nonfiction book 20,000 to 80,000 words. But most of those self-published how-to books kind of fall in that 12 to 20,000 word range. So how does math help you? This is a trick that I learned from David Frixell, who used to be the head honcho at Writers Magazine, now owns an independent newspaper out in New Mexico. Dave wrote a book on how to write a book fast, and it's from him that I learned this technique. And once I knew this, it made writing a book or an article, a blog post. You can use this. Let me just stop for a second. This isn't just for a book, this technique. You can use this for web content or blog posts because it works equally well for all. So do you remember your outline? And we have all those major topics that are chapters. Decide on how long you think the book should be approximately and divide it by the number of chapters. So if it's a 20,000 word book and there are 10 chapters, you know that every chapter needs to have about 2,000 words. And if each of those chapters has 5 subtopics, then you know that each of the subtopics, you only need to write 400 words. For me, if you just sit down and write, most people will either write way too little or way too much. If you're using Word or any other word processing, you can watch the number, you can check the number of words. This keeps you on that word target. And most people can write this kind of stuff pretty quickly once they know, oh, okay, I only need to do 300 words in this topic or 400 words in this subtopic. Makes it go so much faster. So how do you know how fast you can write? Well, sit down and just do 10 minutes of free writing and then count the words. So let's say you can write 100 words in 10 minutes. That means you can write 600 words an hour. So that gives you a very good idea of about how long it's going to take you to write any given subtopic or chapter or the whole book. Okay? So just as another example, if your book has 20,000 words, and let's say you can write 1,000 words an hour, it's going to take you 20 hours to write the book. And if the book has 10 sections, chapters, and each has about 2,000 words, then you know that each section is going to take you about 2 hours. And continuing the math on down, if that chapter has 4 sections, you know each one of them has to be about 500 words, and you can write it in I said 30 minutes here. It's actually about an hour. So sorry about that's my mistake because I am not a math person. Okay. Now, once you know the number of words per section, the number of words you can write an hour, then you can schedule your writing time. So one thing that's really important is don't worry if one of your chapters runs a little long or one runs a little short. You're going for the average. And as long as you're sticking to, the 10 chapter, 20,000 words, as long as you're sticking to about 2,000 words on average per chapter, you're going to hit that 20,000 word mark in 20 hours if you write 1,000 words a minute. One thing I really want you to do right now is I asked you before in the last lesson to set up your outline with your main chapters and your subtopics. I would love for you to get that list out, get your calendar out, and just plug into the calendar when you're going to write what. Trust me on this one, you won't believe how fast this goes if you follow this technique. So get out your calendar, your outline, and set up your schedule right now. And I just want to leave you with a quick quote from Mark Twain. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. The secret of getting started is breaking your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks, and then starting on the first one. So, see, I think Mark liked math too. And the other thing about this too, your book may be a how-to book, and it may have a very specific linear order that people have to follow. They have to follow the order. Your book may not be that type of book. So if you're more comfortable writing chapter 6 before you are chapter 2, then schedule it that way. Schedule what makes it easiest for you, and it's going to go really well. So get out the paper, get out the calendar, and let's get your book scheduled.